So this story comes from my youth. You're going to like it. It was a cool September night back in the 1970s. The kind of night where the stars hang low and the air smells like pine. And a man's heart starts to stir for hunting season. You see, back then, we'd start training dogs about mid-September. The crew had gathered up at the club to stretch the dogs' legs. The hounds had been pinned up since April, and tonight they were going to run. Now back then you couldn't fox hunt year-round like we can today. That all changed later thanks to the North Carolina Fox Hunters Association. If you release a dog anywhere in North Carolina, you need to thank these guys. They're the reason you can do it. I don't care what kind of hunting you do. These guys have fought for you for decades. Anyway, back in those days, September 15th was the magic date. That was the night we turned them loose. Names you may recognize here: Jim Eubanks, Philip Tripp, Herman Hunter, Skipper Clements, Herman Edwards, Duffy Hart, Shag Carlisle, and a few others whose stories deserve their own campfire story one day, gathered in fellowship and cast the hounds. And before long the woods came alive with southern music, that deep rolling thunder that only a hound can make. While the dogs ran, the men cooked supper, swapped stories, and settled in for what would be a legendary night. A story we still laugh and tell today. A story of the great possum dog adventure. Now, I think I was the youngest one out there. I was just a little thing. They called me Skeeter. Matter of fact, that was my CB handle, short for mosquito. They said I was the most aggravating thing they had ever seen. I was more aggravating than a mosquito, so they called me Skeeter. Everybody back then had a CB handle. There was Tick Bite, Crow, Rooster, Yogi, Boo Boo, Slewfoot, Chicken. It was colorful times and colorful people. Well, a few of the men had slipped off of the crossing trying to figure out whose dog was leading the pack, for bragging rights. Meanwhile, others were up to no good at all. They had caught a possum earlier in the day in a live trap, and somebody got the bright idea: let's put a dog collar on that possum like a hound. My daddy, wearing heavy welding gloves, held the possum, while the other guys fastened a dog collar around his neck. They put that possum right in the dog box of one of their buddies and waited. When the others came back, they started bragging. My dog was in the lead of that race. Another one said, "Ain't no way. We caught him. He's in your dog box." There was some back and forth and some friendly arguing until that possum started making noise. They walked to the back of the truck with flashlights, and there he was, standing proud in that dog box with a collar on. That possum looked like he belonged to the club. That laughter broke out that night could be heard clear across the pines. And that's the kind of memory that sticks. Those men, their stories, their humor, and their hounds. They're the generation that came before us, and we owe them everything. So here's to them, the ones that taught us how to hunt, how to laugh, and how to live right. Hey guys, I'm Todd Edwards, and this has been the generation that came before us. Thanks for listening to Campfire Stories. Catch you on the next one.
Follow Tick Bite NC on YouTube.